all of a sudden we have this marriage because we can get in there a lot quicker because it's our team. I mean, we have over 100 people now, so it's pretty amazing in all other areas. So I love it. I hope you can.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool. And I think it's hard to wrap your head around if you haven't been like exposed to the different ways that different people run their businesses, or different like teams and agents have it set up. But it really is different in that there's a lot of flexibility. And Christina brought up partnerships. Like that's something that our team is really like all about. Like it's not in other brokerages, it might be like a little more formal, like if you're going to partner up with people and or start a team, it's like there's a little more formal structure to it. But here, like you can partner with an agent for one deal, and you know it's just for that one deal. And then if there's another agent, you know, you get a lead for somewhere else and you partner up with them, like it's completely separate. So there's just a lot of flexibility in how you can do your business, and people benefit both ways. I mean, like for the newer agents that have been on the other end of partnerships, it's a great way to get experience, because not only are you have the experience of working with a client, like the agent that you're partnering with, you're going to learn from them along the way on how they're doing things. So partnering is definitely on a lot of levels something special about this team, because it really, like, you can expand your footprint of where you do business, and you can learn and have the opportunity to, you know, mentor other agents, and it's kind of a win-win for everybody. Anyone have anything on that? Omar, how's your experience on the team been from so far? Omar and Ryan, you guys have been here for a little while, and you're both newer to the business. Like, it'd be good to get some insight from you on how you feel about how we're set up.
Yeah, man. So I've been in the business for a year and never worked at any other brokerage, like fresh out the box. But my experience has been good. I mean, I knew about Kenny. I mean, I live in Oakland, so I saw his benches everywhere. So that's how I got to know a little bit about him. And then I found out that we had some mutual connections. So that's how I got introduced to him. But aside from that, just joining the team, it's like you have that default Team Fast, you know, brand that you could kind of plug into if you don't have anything on your own. And that's pretty much what I've been rolling with since then. But yeah, I mean, you've seen people like Eric, Julie, and just some others that have, you know, came into their own with their branding. I'm not quite there yet, you know, I'm still trying to figure things out. But yeah, it's cool that we have this, the Team Fast backing, and like the Fast Real Estate brand that Kenny's built for some credibility as a new agent. So it's been good.
Nice. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is like the brand. I'm going to pull up the slide so we can see that. Hold on. I'm trying to connect. I got contractors at my house and they're starting to like cut through floors, and it's about to be super loud. Can you hear me? Oh man, I don't like wearing this headset on Zoom. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to have to roll with it this week so you don't have to listen to a bunch of sawing. Cool. Yeah, I like hearing about the branding. Ryan, how about you? How's your experience on the team been so far?
It's been great. So I was actually with a boutique brokerage in San Francisco before I joined Fast Real Estate. And I just think, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I think Team Fast delivers on all the other aspects that other brokerages sell to you. The training, the culture, leads. And I joined a smaller boutique brokerage at first because I wanted that one-on-one coaching. The downside to that was really on our team of 6 at the boutique firm, there's really only the broker bringing in business. So he would team up with us, but it was literally like 1 or 2 agents at a time. And by the time you got another opportunity, you kind of forget what you learned in the previous deal. Like there wasn't enough flow coming in. So I don't know. I think marketing wise, obviously, like Kenny is a genius with that. So you can roll with the Fast brand, which is already sleek and modern on its own. And then you have all the other benefits too. We're spoiled over here. Even though this is only my second brokerage, I definitely think we have it pretty sweet over here.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear, man. Yeah, it's I've been around for a little while, and it's pretty special, and in a lot of ways too, like just like the vibe and the energy. And I think ultimately that's what brings a lot of people over, is that they can see that we're a little bit different, just as far as just the overall vibe. I mean, we're definitely like the most diverse brokerage, and that's just like, I feel like, a little side bonus, the diversity that we've got in our group. But the diversity in how the business is set up is huge. So I pulled up the slides because I wanted to kind of go back through. Again, this format's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot more like questions when we're actually like down in the we're really actually going through and talking about how to actually do things, like next week talking about setting up appointments or setting up tours and running comps and all that. But so this works a little funky going back to the slides, but we had this. I can't believe that it's been over a year. I joined in September. I think I mentioned last week, I joined in September. I was like the 46th, 42nd agent on the team, something like that. We're at 120, something around there. When I joined, they had just opened the Walnut Creek office, and they had the Jack London office that they started with, and now the Walnut Creek office. It was like, it used to be these like three different 3-person offices, and now we have like this giant, beautiful, like 10-person office with a window that looks out over Broadway Plaza. We have like our own an office that we kind of set up as our own kind of conference room setup, and then we have a bunch of smaller private offices too that people can kind of get in and focus a little bit more. We have Brentwood, which is our first office that we kind of set up from scratch, not a co-working space. It's looking pretty sweet in there. We've been working with a designer and just kind of going like textile, a little bit more modern, a little different than a lot of other real estate offices. There's some cool ones out there, but there's a lot that kind of look like you could just be doing your taxes there, people selling insurance out of. So we're definitely trying to make the offices like a place that you want to go to and work out of. We've got Hercules and Hayward in the works too. Those will be open if all goes as planned late summer. And then Concord Industrious, which is the company that has the Walnut Creek office, they're expanding out to Concord. We're actually their first contract to open an office in there. So we've got that going. And then, Kenny's always looking to expand. Does anyone have any questions about the offices that we have, or like how they work as far as accessing them? Have any agents on this call like not been to any offices yet?
I've been to the Jack London Square, but just trying to figure out how to go there. Is it or how to get in?
Yeah, so the Jack London one, the ones where we're like the Jack London and Walnut Creek, where they're co-working offices and we have like memberships, they're a little bit tricky because like not everybody's a member. So I think at Jack London they actually have Omar or Ryan, you guys might know, but I think Kenny's actually put a Supra out there somewhere, and so you can go get an electronic key fob out of the Supra and then use that to get in.
So the last couple times I've been to the Jack London office, the Supra is out there, but the key card isn't in there. So I don't know if someone, I don't know if someone swiped the key card though, or if I'm just catching it where someone else is using it. But
probably both. It's probably someone forgetting to put it back sometimes, or somebody being up there. There's also the Fast House, which is coming, like Dewey's house. If you follow like those guys on Instagram, you'll kind of see the like Fast House beta. They have like cardboard in the windows in some spots still, but Kenny's in that same development. Kenny bought a home also, and he got like the biggest floor plan there, and so he's going to be converting that into like a work, basically into like an office. So it's going to be a residential home in a brand new build, but it's going to be set up for startup style for people to work out of. So I think once that's set up, that's going to be a lot easier to kind of get in and out of than Jack London, which is more of like a co-working space. It's just a little tricky with the way the co-working spaces are run. So to like let everybody in. But like Christina just said, Walnut Creek, you can post in the WC Slack. Same with Jack London. Like a lot of times posting in Slack is going to be, or reaching out to people that are usually there and kind of coordinating with somebody that's there. will be the best bet. But as we have more and more offices that are not in co-working spaces, then there won't be as much of a hassle. Anyone else have questions about any of the offices or how that's set up?
How's the Brentwood set up for keys?
Brentwood set up for keys is pretty sweet. So we got this thing called the Next Key, which is like it's controlled by Bluetooth. Like I can open Brentwood like from my house. Like I've had people working there and they like text me and then I just like hit the app on my phone and the door unlocks for them. If you want to ever work at a Brentwood, we can set you up so you have the key on your phone. And you literally just walk up, open up the app, and then you hear the door pop open. So that's how we're going to have it at pretty much all of our like retail offices, like our offices that aren't in co-working space. Is anyone that wants to use it can get the Next Key app on their phone, and you just literally walk up to the door, open the app, and it just pops the door open. It's pretty sweet. I definitely recommend checking out the Brentwood office. You know, if you're in the area, it's really easy to like get in and out of too, and there's lots of different spaces to go work out of. So especially if you ever showing out in that area, or you have clients out there, it's just a good spot to meet. We have it set up a couple different conference rooms, and we're still putting finishing touches on it and working through some things, but it's pretty sweet. It looks like that Zillow train just got out because we just had a bunch of people join. So welcome to everybody that just jumped in. Today's just a little bit more like question and answer. We're going through the slides from the first call. We just kind of finished talking about how our team is set up a little bit differently and how we're a large team within EXP, but we operate more like a brokerage within a brokerage. Talked about kind of why we're set up on EXP. Does anyone that just joined have any questions about just the team structure overall and how we're set up?
It's Mishan.
Hey, Mishan.
Hey. So it's more like a statement than a question. I've never been in a team before. I worked in a very, very small boutique where basically I may as well been my own broker. I was just completely on my own. So this whole team aspect is both exciting, but a little overwhelming because I don't really know all the mechanisms of it. Like what all can I do in the team, and how do I find out what's offered with the team? I mean, I have some of the resources, but I guess I just don't really fully know how to use the resources.
Yeah, that's a good question, because there is kind of a lot, and because there's a lot of flexibility, there are some formal things that are set up, like obviously Zillow Flex and people working on we'll cover that in a little bit, but like Zillow Flex is obviously a big feature that this team has, so that's one big benefit. And then there's the things that we pay for, like Real Scout and Sisu and the different tools that are available to you as a team, and those are part of like onboarding. But then when it comes to other opportunities, like other like lead opportunities and all that, there's a lot of like the partnerships and working with other agents. That's a little bit more like organic. So just people like putting themselves out there, like, hey, I work in this area. Like if you ever have clients out here that you need help with showing, or just finding an agent that is busier and is kind of looking for some go-to agents with help here and there. And then Christina just yeah, I think connecting with Christina would be a good call too. She just dropped her a note in the chat for you. I think talking to someone that's kind of been around a little bit longer about the kind of just the best way to position yourself on the team and to kind of make the most of it. But I think the main thing to take away too is that like between myself and Elias and Karina, like everyone's got a lot going on, but we really all the three of us, and then obviously Kenny too, but Kenny's just got so much going on. But like we're real, and Molly was onboarding. Like we look at it like it's our job to support the agents. So if whenever you have questions or if something's not clear, like just don't hesitate to reach out. Like there's no dumb questions. Like we're all here to grow. So if you're looking for a little bit more direction, like just reach out, and definitely connect with Christina too, because I think it's a little different perspective. Like the agents on the team will have a little different perspective than the, you know, people on leadership that are kind of dealing with the bigger picture. So I think finding some agents and connecting with them can maybe help you get a little bit more direction on how to best utilize, you know, your position on the team. Hopefully that's helpful. Anyone else that just joined have questions about the team structure or, you know, EXP in general? All right. So just going back through the slides from Monday. So this is the leadership team. We obviously went through it on Monday. Karina, Julie, Molly, myself, Elias, and then Kenny up here. And then we have the virtual assistants and the real life assistant in Rebecca and the squad leaders. I'm sure there's some questions about the virtual assistant and the team assistant. What do you guys got there? Has anyone on here used them for anything, or you know, are you familiar with what they can do for you?
I have. So I use the virtual assistant for doing my flyers. So when I do coming soon, or when I have a e-blast, or right now I'm working on a text blast, I've utilized the virtual assistants for that. I also use them for any kind of Excel sheets that I might need help with, or if I want to run through my CRM to find out what leads are still maybe untouched. And they can also help work on logos. They're just a really good resource, and it's a free assistant that you get. So I encourage any of you to utilize them because they're on it.
Yeah, they're awesome. And if you're not sure when you, I just saw Martinique's question in there. If you're not sure if what they can do, if what you need is something they can help with, just reach out. If you copy me, I kind of help with the virtual assistant. So if you copy me on that email, you know, if they have questions, they can reach out to me. Slack is a good way to reach out to them. And for the agents that aren't like, it took me a while because I'm just used to email and obviously phone call and text, but if you're not like tapped into Slack and you don't have it like on your desktop and on your phone, I highly recommend just getting in the routine of using Slack, checking Slack, figuring out which channels you want to have notifications on, because there's a lot of communication that goes on in there. And you know, obviously in the meetings and some of the stuff that goes on through email, but the majority of team communication is done through Slack. So definitely just get set up in there, and not just, you know, it's one thing to like create your login and have it, but if you don't, if you're not in the routine of checking it and monitoring it, you can definitely miss out on a lot. But so Gene, I'm going to put their. So those are I just dropped in the chat the virtual assistant emails, and then Rebecca is our like real life assistant. She's local. She lives in Pittsburgh. She's actually a licensed agent too. She's focusing more on the admin side of things too, but is also starting to branch out and you know, she's going to be helping with showings and you know, work her way over to being an agent. But she's a rock star like admin, so she's the one that she has the virtual assistants helping her with more things now too, but she's a go-to for doing PED forms and for setting up buyer tours and things like that. She can do for you. So the whole point in having these people, the virtual assistants and Rebecca, is for you to have leverage, and leverage, you know, as I mentioned on Monday, leverage is really important, and it's something you hear a lot about in the real estate, because you only have a limited amount of time, and we really want you to focus your time on like the dollar producing activities. So, you know, lead generating, prospecting, making calls to clients, showing homes, the activities that are going to lead to actually making money. There's obviously a whole lot that goes into the day-to-day of this business that isn't, you know, directly dollar producing, but it's still essential to moving transactions along, getting marketing in place, just the day-to-day administrative stuff. So we have these VAs and Rebecca to help you take your time away from that admin stuff, so you can either focus more on, you know, the stuff that's actually going to make you money, or, you know, if you're super, for the agents that are really busy and just buried in work, the virtual assistants and Rebecca can take some of that workload off, so they can just get a little bit more balance like in their life. And rather than take an hour or two to set up tours for the weekend, they have that time for something else, and it just makes them more effective overall. So the concept of leverage is something that you really want to wrap your head around early on. Like, we obviously, like, when you're a new agent, there's some value in setting up the tours yourself and doing the PEDs yourself, because you need to understand what needs to be done. And also, if it's last minute, like, the virtual assistants aren't always going to be able to do stuff for you last minute. So you're going to need to know how to do these things. But if you think about it in terms of leverage and using these services that are paid for, and it's a big benefit of the team, because for most agents, like, you need to have a ton of business to get to a point where you take on an assistant. But there's going to be plenty of times where you feel like you could use some help. So a huge benefit of the team is you don't have to take on the expense of an assistant, but you get the benefit of that leverage. So buyer tours and PEDs and things like that. So it can be a little bit of adjustment to hand that stuff over, but once you're used to using that leverage that the team provides, it can really free up a lot of time, actual time, and then just mentally too. Rather than, I know I need to set this tour up for this weekend, you can just send it off to the assistants to do, and then it gets done for you. So that concept of leverage is super important. I saw Elias jump on here. Elias, you want to contribute anything about the importance of leverage and using the resources from the team?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, John, on the onset. When you are first starting out, I think it's important to know how to do those PEDs. But the idea with us is that you're going to get busier, right? And this is about being able to scale and being able to grow your business and being able to take some of the administration tasks off your plate. So what you'll have to do, though, is you'll have to learn how to relinquish some control, which is hard for us, right? We like to control the process. So relinquishing some of that control will ultimately free you up to do income producing activities such as prospecting, right? And so think about that. If I can save 2 hours not doing PEDs, and I can spend those 2 hours driving new business, that's the better use of your time. So, being able to take those things off your plate, you got to relinquish some control. But at the end of the day, it will free you up to do more income producing activities. So we couldn't agree more with you.
Cool. Any questions? Thanks, Elias. Any questions on how to use those? I dropped all the emails in there. Like we said, we don't want them to be someone that just they do stuff you don't want to do. We want them to be a resource for you to free up more time to do other activities. And everyone's got a lot going on, so make the most of it.
Is there anything that we should not ask them to do?
Probably, but if you think it's reasonable, like do you have something in mind that you're not you want to have them do and you're not sure it fits in?
I was just checking to make sure.
No, I think if it's a basic task that's going to benefit your business, like go for it. Like, and if it's something that seems completely unreasonable, they'll probably reach out to me and be like, hey, Michelle wants us to do her taxes. Like, I don't think that we're supposed to do that. Like, but okay. No, like we have this as a resource, and if it's going to help you and provide your business with some leverage, reach out to them, and you can just ask them if it's something they can help with.
Yeah. So
don't ask them to take my kids to the park then.
No,
I already tried. They won't do it. They're actually in the Philippines, so it would take a while.
So Michelle, so if you look at it this way, so like we have agents using them to clean up their database, so call old leads, to organize their database. Some agents are even having them do their social media, which I don't personally like, but it's your business, right? Because I believe in like true, like organic, like originality that comes from you. And personalization versus automation, right? That's what social media game is all about. It's this personal touch that you're putting out to the consumer, or to the public. So there's some things that they'll do almost everything for you, but at the end of the day, do they need to do those things for you? Do they have to do 3 posts for you a day on social media? No, you can do that by just documenting your journey and all the cool things that you're doing in your own life. And so, leverage them, but know, like, okay, I should probably be doing these things. I mean, because they're down to help out, but there's tons of things that, you know, they don't really need to be doing for you.
Yeah, but if it's something that like they're really good, and some of the stuff they're going to do more efficiently. So if it's like a spreadsheet task, like if you need to copy and paste 100 different names into, you know, some other column, like that's not the best use of your time. Like once you know how to do it, like the VAs can do that. They'll do it more efficiently and get it done, you know, probably better than you would do it. That's something that they can do. But like Juanita, you put in here, can they help with comps?
No.
Theoretically they can, but that's something that you really want to be doing yourself as an agent, because that's something that will take like a higher level of understanding of what you're doing than them. They don't know that they know how to do things, but they don't know the nuances of, you know, the real estate market. They don't know, like they're trained on some real estate specific things, but running comps is something that like it takes the skill of an agent. So that's something that you definitely want to be doing on your own. If it's like, yeah, I'm just plugging in properties to, you know, RPR or some system that spits out like generic comps for you, like, yeah, they could do that for you. But comps are something that I really believe take like a personal touch, and those algorithms can't run comps like an agent can. So that's something that I would say, you know, you don't want them to do. Like they would do it if you asked them to get comps for you. They would find a way to do it, but it would not be done at the level that something like running comps should be, because it really takes the skilled eyes of an agent to do properly.
So let's just be clear, you guys. Don't ask a VA to run your comps that live in a different country.
Yeah.
Let's just be really, really clear, because, but if you need help running comps, then, you know, come to the leadership team, come to a mentor if you have one, or look in Slack, because there's tons of videos of how to run a comparable market analysis that have already been recorded for you guys. Because somebody that's running it for you might not know, well, I don't want to go past the 13 because now I'm going to get up into Montclair and over to Piedmont. Like that price range is going to change. So you have to get super hyper focused on those and know where the streets are, where Maxwell Park is versus where, you know, Seminary is. So you know those pocket areas. So lean locally for comps, and we can help you out, because that's a specialty, right? Running comps is a specialty, and it's hard as shit when you guys first get started.
Yeah, and if for some reason that you're running hundreds of comps for hundreds of properties for something you're doing, like it's probably something that you shouldn't be doing, because it's not like the most effective use of your time. Sylvia asked how are they paid? Kenny pays them. I mean, the team pays them. You know, when you pay your team splits, and we want to really provide value for the split that you're paying to the team. And, you know, obviously it goes towards the beautiful offices, tools like Real Scout and things like that, but they also pay for the assistance and the tools, because Kenny strongly believes that, you know, the more he can power up your business, the more business he'll bring in. It's a win-win for everyone.
Did John mute, or am I? John, we don't have any audio, bro.
Yeah, he's not muted, but nothing's coming through.
That's weird. I've never seen him with this headset on.
He said he has construction going on in his house, so he had to put us
Johnny
on.
boy, we have zero audio from you.
How about now?
Yep.
All right. So yeah, nobody posts that headset on Instagram. They stopped sawing for a while, so. So sorry, Amy was asking if they can help with marketing materials. That's definitely something that they can help with. Christina, do you want to give an example of how they helped you with your marketing materials?
So I had her, I used Rhea. I haven't used Jean before, but I used Rhea, and I connected with her first on Instagram. And then, so she could kind of get a flavor of what my IG looks like. And then from there, I asked her if she could help create a flyer for me for current neighborhoods that I've sold homes in. So it's my hope that I get those out the door this week. And what I mean by that is actually walk the neighborhood. So I could do some, not door knocking, but similar to door knocking, and you're not listening to this, but just get out there and just really have a presence besides creating the postcards that actually go to the homes. So, And then she's created some of my IG posts, and they're very simple, and I just use them as placeholders for the days that I don't have anything to post of a home I've either shown, a pending, a sold, or a coming soon. So it's kind of just like a buffer, and I have like maybe 5 of those a month created for me, just in case I need something to post and I don't have anything that day. I try to do something on social media every day.
Nice. Amy, does that answer your question?
I have to ask a question for the other Christina. Is that a real dog in the back? It looks like a lion looking out the window.
Yeah, he's a lion. He's a lion. Poofy, say hi.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm like,
Lion. He's a white lion. He's a chow chow.
yeah, very interested in what's going on outside. Like, let me out. Sorry, I digress. Sorry, John.
No, now I'm like trying to zoom in. I want to see that dog.
Poofy.
Good old Poofy.
That's a great name too.
Hold on. Poofy, come here. Oh, say hi. Mom, can you move my laptop, please? Okay. There you go. Say hi to Poofy.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Straight up Poofy. Sorry.
He's my
How
Poofy.
cute.
Yep. Poofy's like, I'm on Zoom.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family, Poof.
Nice, love it. All right, let's see. Cool. So I think that kind of covers virtual assistants. Does anyone else have questions on the assistants that are available to you and how that works? Because it's super important. Again, as a new agent, there's a lot of value in learning and doing things yourself. But once you get to the point where you can use them as leverage, we definitely want you to take us up on using those assistants. Nope. Cool. All right. So the other thing on that chart on the next line was the squad leaders. Basically, squad leaders, kind of like in a nutshell, is the next layer of support that we're trying to add as a leadership team. We started out with just agents that are on the Zillow Flex team. So they right now aren't working with every agent, but the goal is for eventually anyone that wants to have a squad leader supporting them, to have some kind of structure in place, so they have that extra layer of support. So it's something that's relatively new to the team. This is our first. We're about maybe a month and a half into the squad leader program. We have Christina, who's a squad leader here too, with her bomb squad. And I think it's going really well overall. So it's something that's going to be expanding out to everybody eventually. But we are launching it. We don't want to overwhelm these people that are just getting into like leadership within the team for the first time. So we started with the Flex team. But Elias, Christina, you guys want to say anything on the squad leader program?
Yeah, I'll turn it over to Christina. So the Zillow Flex squad leaders are that. So they're there to help support the Zillow Flex department. Zillow Flex department is going to be obviously a huge contributor to our overall success. We're already at about $25 million in production from Zillow Flex leads, and we've only been on about 3 months. And so the idea is that number is going to grow probably to about 1,000 leads a month by this time next year. Squad leaders are there to help support with the communication, help listen to the calls, be additional line of support and an additional layer of motivation for the agents. And so when you guys earn your right to be on Zillow Flex, each of you will be on a squad. And Christina is one of the squad leaders. So Christina, you want to talk a little bit about your role and how you support the agents?
So if you guys are looking for a place where it's just a ton, I say it's a faucet full of leads. To be on Zillow Flex is truly a privilege. And I'm telling you, like, the phone rings all day. And I've been honored to lead a squad of 6 amazing seasoned agents, and we really get together and we work through obstacles, we work through presentations, just anything that we could do to keep the motivation high, but yet our skills sharpened. So I look forward to working with so many more of you, and it's just a great way to get to meet each other too, since we're kind of still behind this Zoom thing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So can't wait to see more and more of you guys there.
Boom.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. Omar, do you want to chime in from the other end as someone that's on a squad?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's been a good experience so far. I've been on Zillow Flex for about a month and a half now, but I mean, the best thing about it is, you know, the accountability, the coaching that we get. I think I'm the lead, the newest to the business on my squad. So, I mean, there's just a wealth of knowledge that we could tap into if we ever need it, or have any questions or into anything out there. So it's been a good experience for me.
Love it. Love it. Juanita's actually on the squad too. Juanita, you want to chime in on that?
Yes. Since I got on Zillow Flex, I've been so busy. So if you want to build the Zillow Flex, you have to be ready to work very, very hard. And I'm happy and proud to be part of the team. I really didn't know that I was ready. Not that I didn't know, but I thought it was gonna take me longer. So thank you, guys, for trusting me.
We knew you were ready.
Yeah, I'm working with 3 Zillow Flex leads right now, showing another one Zillow Flex lead today. So,
and she's writing one of her highest price point offers today in Berkeley. So she's like, I'm more busy than I've ever been, and that was the idea. So really good job, Juanita.
thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you all. So
that's what I was asking about the comps, because it takes so much time. I'm like, can they do comps?
I know, but yeah, it takes time, but it's not only like you need to do it to make sure it's done well, but in doing comps, you learn about the market too. So, and it's something that I think you'll get faster at. The more and more you do it, you'll find ways to do it that you will get faster at. Cool.
Question.
Yes, Christina.
First off, congrats, Juanita. Second, how do we get on?
How do you get on Flex?
Can you walk us through this process?
Yeah, we have a slide coming up on that soon. So I'm going to skip through this leadership because we all kind of talked about it. We talked about marketing earlier. You know, just about I pulled this slide just as an example of what we were talking about earlier, how there's just a lot of flexibility in how you brand. So you can rep the team brand, use the team templates. You can work in your own branding. You know, we're all Walter's got his template here. Like it's something that I think is really unique and special about this team is that there's so much flexibility when it comes to branding. But if you don't, like Omar was saying, like he doesn't have his own brand going yet, but he reps the team brand, and I think it's a beautiful, clean looking style. And you can just, you know, like someone like Eric, you can kind of do both, throw your logo on stuff, but use team templates. This next slide is just an example of some of the logos people have done. So yeah, we kind of talked about that, but we didn't have Elias on there earlier. So you want to chime in, Elias, on just the way that you can brand yourself on the team and the flexibility you have there?
I think you have really the creative freedom to do it your way, Christina, and for everyone. So when building your brand, I think that the brand needs to coincide with who you are as a person. And I think that Kenny and I do a really good job at helping you guys identify what that looks like. You know, and so I think that this is an opportunity for you to say, okay, here's some ideas. What do you think? Let's work on the font. Let's work on the flow. Let's work on the color. So that's the beauty of being on this team and this company is that you don't have to rep us, right? We have a cool looking brand, but if you don't want to have anything to do with us and in regards to your branding, you can lead any way that you want. So whatever your vision is, we want to help that come to light. But to answer your question, Christina, and maybe if I'm jumping too far ahead, John, let me know. She had a question about Flex. You want me to answer that now?
We'll have a whole slide on Flex, so we'll talk about that in detail for sure, because I know that everybody on the team wants to know, like, how to get on that team.
Okay.
But, we kind of covered most of the marketing stuff earlier, but does anybody have any questions or comments on marketing and branding your business on our team?
You guys, the marketing for our company is known to be some of the sexiest in the industry, right? I believe that we put EXP on the map in the Bay Area. We are the #1 EXP team in all of Northern California, and we brought some sexy to EXP. EXP was really dry. They don't have the best marketing, but you combine that with Fast Real Estate and Team Fast, it really brought a level of panache and sauce to our branding. And so all we ask is that you guys are very detail oriented in your particular with what you put out to the consumer, right? I don't want to see any shit that's taken from an iPhone that was just like halfway cut or it just looked unprofessional. Like make sure that if it's consumer facing, it is your best product that you possibly have. right? I want you to like take ownership of this. Like I want to take pride in everything that I'm putting out to the public because it's part of my name and it's part of the company's name. So take a lot of pride in what you guys are putting out to the consumer and make sure that it's your best product.
Yeah, you should be stoked about all your marketing and how it looks because you have the freedom. Like when you're in other brokerages and you're limited to use their templates or follow certain guidelines, like you might not necessarily love it. But when you have the freedom to create stuff however you want, as long as there's EXP on there somewhere, like look at Walter's. Like this is totally unique to Walter. He's got the tiny little Fast Real Estate EXP logo on here, but it's all about him. So this is like totally compliant. But totally unique to Walter. And then he uses this. He's even got, I like how he's got his little Sniper Squad logo down in the bottom left corner. But I think this is a great example of just the really making the most of the freedom that you have, because it's something that's, really special about this team.
My favorite's the bottom left on that one.
The Sniper Squad?
No, the bottom left, man, yours. I just think that's cool. Like how the just listed is, how the John Gomez is spelled out. Like that's one of my favorite fonts that you use.
Thanks, man. Melody describing my brand on Monday was like, I don't know, like skater, Hawaii, he's got tattoos, like he wears Vans every day. Wears Vans every day was like how she described my branding. So I'll take it. I liked it.
Well, I think I would go a little bit further and be like chino pants is like part of his style. I don't know if he has pants that cover his ankles.
I don't really have pants that cover the ankles. I used to wear shorts every single day for like the most of my 20s. So, it's a transition. This slide, I think we've got our tech tools. Like it's something that you hear about a lot. This is something that I made just to demonstrate, how many different tools we use. There's other stuff we use that's not even on here. But looking through this list, is there any logos on here that somebody like does not recognize and you don't know what that is? Because these are all like essentials. And if they're like, don't, Christina.
This is probably premature, but like, I don't, Sisu, Cloud, CMA, I don't know what those are, but yeah, I'm not licensed yet. I'm waiting for my test date, so maybe it's
okay. Nice. Yeah. Well, these are all things that you'll totally be using. And Sisu is like something that Kenny pays for, and it's a really powerful like business tracking tool. So it's just something that you can. It does a lot for you to help have visibility on where your business is at and how you're spending your time. And it's something that as a team, we're going to be using more of. High Note is something that we use to like make really, really beautiful, like robust email presentations. It's how some agents submit their offers. Chime is the CRM that we use to manage company leads. Slack is a big one. Like I was saying earlier, we use that for company communication. Like you really want to get in the habit of checking Slack. But yeah, any comments or questions on any of these tools or just like technology in general on the team?
What is High Note for?
Sorry, who was that?
That was Mishan.
Hey, Mishan.
Well, I was
what High Note is.
Oh,
Yeah.
what High Note is? So High Note is I don't even know how to like explain it, but basically you can create these like email templates where you can like put a bunch of media in it. So it's like, it'll be this nice template. And then within it, you can present, like you can put videos, you can put images, you can put links to PDFs. So it's a way to organize everything into, it looks really nice and it presents really well. And then what's really cool about it too, is you can track who's viewing it and like how often they're viewing it. So if you send, a presentation to somebody and or you send comps or you send information about something and you see that they've opened it 5 times and then they're opening it back up tomorrow, like they're definitely interested in whatever's in there. So it's like with a regular email, you don't know how much somebody's looking at it. With High Note, not only like that they're looking at it, but like the different sections that they're looking at. Who has a really good High Note? Like,
can you give me a share screen rights really quick?
Yeah, perfect.
I'll pull it up. So most of you guys have seen High Note and maybe don't remember, but this presentation that was sent to you guys prior to even joining Fast Real Estate and Team Fast, this is a High Note presentation. So you could literally build this any way that you want. any URL, any information that you want to build into this, you can simply put the links in there. You can put any static pieces in here, articles that you want, and it's all part of your presentation. So the beauty behind this, like John was saying, is that if I am on this section right here and I'm reading about Team Fast and I want to know about Team Fast and how it works, well, imagine this is a buyer presentation or a listing presentation that you sent to a client. Well, each time they're on each of these sections, it's going to send you an email saying your client, Christina, has looked at the presentation. She spent X amount of time on this section. So when you meet the client or you have a follow-up conversation, you'll kind of have a sense of where to go with your conversation based on how much they were reading. If they read your bio and they were on that page for 15 minutes, cool, then you know it's probably going to be a little bit more of an emotional sale. Well, if they went right to the numbers section, you'll probably know that they're a little bit more analytical, and you'll probably need to lead heavily on your data. So you guys, this is just a great way for you to create a presentation stack that is different than anybody in the industry. I'm going to share this with you guys because I think if you don't have this, this is important that you guys have. So it's just a really great way for you guys to do an amazing presentation, and you're able to see the analytics behind it. So there's that way you can keep it. Each of you will have an automatic subscription to this, and we'll do a training on this, and Molly can help out with that as well.
And that's another
Sounds
tool
awesome. Thank you.
It's another tool that Kenny pays for, and it's pretty sweet. And Molly actually works with the High Note team, so we have like an insider, but super cool tool. Any other tools on that list?
I have a question.
Yep, go for it.
So like all these tools that Kenny pay for, like, does it matter whether we're on the team model or the indie model?
No, you have access to it all.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And to
Hi, this is Amy. I have a quick question about the High Note. Should we also send the same link that Kenny has for new potential agents? Like, let's just say we have an agent in mind and we want to send them that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Amy, what you'll find in that presentation I just shared is it has all of our recorded meetings, and it has like our Zillow Flex audition. So it has all of it in one hub. So if you say, oh, hey, you're thinking about joining the team, wonderful. Let's set up a meeting with Elias and Kenny. But in the meantime, check out this link. It's going to give you a lot of the answers before we even meet with you. Like a lot of you guys received that prior to us even meeting you.
And like next level, like you can copy templates and create it. Like one day, if you wanted to have your own email like that, you could just copy that. And if you wanted to add in a section about like, your experience with the team or whatever, you can take that, use it as a foundation and tweak it and create your own presentation. But it's pretty cool. All right. Any other questions about any of the tools on here? High Note's definitely a big one. Some of these other ones, DocuSign, MLS, Zip Forms, that's generic stuff. But some of these are definitely. Canva is a really cool one. That's what we use for a lot of marketing. I'm like blown away by how much you can do on Canva. Like I used to use Photoshop like on a real basic level, but Canva is like super user friendly and a lot of good stuff in there. So definitely play around on Canva. Start with our templates and create your own too. But main thing is we have a lot of tech, and when we're founded by Kenny, we're gonna have a lot of tech. All right. So we talked about some of this stuff. How are we on time? We have 15 minutes left. So I want to make sure we get to Zillow Flex. After this slide, we'll get to Flex and make sure we have a lot of time on that, because I want to make sure that everyone on this call has a clear understanding of kind of the path to being a Flex agent, because I know that it's a highly desirable feature of this team is to get on Flex. Allergies are killing me, and I try to mute when I blow my nose because it's really loud. But this is just a slide that highlights some of the special partnerships that we have. Zillow Flex, obviously, we'll get to. Real Scout, we have a brokerage account. So like I mentioned on Monday, not only does Kenny pay for it and saves you $30 or $40 a month for this tool, but we also have some special features in our Real Scout account that regular individual solo paying people don't have, and things to help you get listings. We'll have separate trainings, and there's lots of like resources for you on how to learn those. And the main takeaway as far as Real Scout, if you're on this call and you've not set up your Real Scout yet and you're not using it to communicate with clients, take advantage of that. I mean, it's free to you. It's something that people at other brokerages pay $40 a month for. So just get it going. It's a great way to stay in touch with your clients, and it's a really efficient way to communicate with clients that you're actively showing. Omar, Christina, any of the experienced agents on here, you want to talk about Real Scout for a quick minute? Because I think that it's a really powerful tool if you're using it properly. Anyone?
I use Real Scout for everything. I kind of think isn't it fed to and all leads fed to it? I feel like it is right now.
If you're set up on Flex, it is, and you have it turned on, it's set up so it will create your Zillow leads and put them into Real Scout. Yeah.
So with my clients, I let them know that I have turned on this amazing app that we have, which is Real Scout, and it also allows them the flexibility in case they decide to change their search, or if they want to have a specific neighborhood, they could always alter the filters themselves. They don't need to wait for me. And I can also get on my phone every time they've gone in there and every property that they're looking at, or they could hit, the star, and it'll alarm me that somebody wants to see a property. So I really, really like this, and I'm glad that Kenny pays for it because it is a little costly. So we're pretty blessed.
I'm going to take a minute here and just highlight it. We'll go into more detail at some point, and it's been a while since I've added my last client. But this is what the dashboard looks like. So you can see when people are looking at properties, if they are interested in properties, they'll click on them. It's a really cool way to just stay in touch with people. For everything from hot active clients that you're seeing on a weekly basis to people that are just casually looking, and you can see how often they're looking at properties. So if somebody you haven't talked to in a while is all of a sudden looking at a bunch of properties, maybe that's a good time to reach out to them. Or someone that you're working with actively, they've looked at this property 5 times, they're definitely going to be pretty interested in that one. So this is just a fraction of what Real Scout can do. We won't get into it in too much detail, but definitely it's something that you want to take advantage of if you're on the team. You can communicate with your clients on here. So clients really like it, and you'll get people that have been searching on Redfin and Zillow for years, maybe before talking to an agent, and they're used to that. And then once I introduce them to Real Scout and communicating through it, they really like it. And then it just really kind of streamlines everything. So definitely get set up on Real Scout.
Is this the link with QR code?
I don't know if there's a QR code. That's a good question. Is it a link that you got to set up, or link?
I saw that there were some postcards that has a QR code. Click here if you want to look at your home value. I'm not sure what service is that associated with.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, that one that might be someone set up individually, and they maybe use HomeBot is another one that we don't have a partnership with, but it's a tool a lot of clients use for home values. But you can definitely set up. You could do, you could set up a QR code to search for properties on Real Scout with me, and set up a QR code for it or something like that. So there's a lot of flexibility. Let's see. Trying to go back to that other. All right, now my Zoom's tripping. Sorry, hold on.
Wait, I kind of wanted to ask too, because I kind of have a question about the QR code too. And I know that another tool that you were talking about too was Corfact, our partnership with Corfact. That's something that we can set up with Corfact, right?
Yep. So it's something that you can set up with Corfact, and then also if you're actually, Amy, that might be what you're talking about, because I think Corfact cards do have a QR code, and it is for home values. So we have, anybody can get Corfact. You can get Corfact, and just go to Corfact.com. You can check out their different cards and their different things that they have. Molly will know the details, but one of the benefits of being on the team is Kenny will pay for 200 either just listed or just sold Corfact postcards. So if you have a listing coming up, you can use the Corfac to send out a couple hundred postcards to a farm around the area, or when it closes and you have a good story to tell, you can send that out also. So
and then that's just like with like the team model or like the indie model too, or what's the details on that? Do you know?
Molly will know specifics. I should know that, but Molly will know specifics. I think if you're on the indie model, you still get 200. I think if you're on the team, you might get 400 per listing, but I would confirm with Molly.
Okay, yeah, I'll confirm with her. And then just by chance, do you know if there's any like sort of special deals we get, like partnership deals with Corfac? Because I want to start just like farming more.
If you just want to do it on your own, like you can usually, like, not really. If you hit up a title rep, they can usually get you a 5% discount code. That's kind of like the best that's out there. If you're going to do it a lot, you can get better pricing by like committing to like a whole campaign. But before you talk to me or talk to the Elias, before you start spending a bunch of money on farming, just to make sure that that's the best use of your money, because like as a newer agent blasting out a bunch of postcards, like I feel like it obviously farming definitely works, and being consistent with postcards works, but it's expensive, and really you need to commit to, like, don't do it unless you're going to commit to sending out postcards for, consistently for 6 to 12 months, because you very well could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on postcards before you get anything, especially if it's like has no context to it. Like if you have listings that you've sold in the neighborhood and you have something to kind of build a foundation of, then like maybe those postcards will be a little bit more effective. But if you just are going to start sending postcards, I think that there's like dollar for dollar better ways to spend your time and money as a new agent, because postcards just get really expensive.
Yeah, no, definitely. I totally agree.
Even with a discount.
You're looking, if you don't have $6,000 a year as a budget on an average to send, let's say 500 mailers every single month, I would get there. But the way that you get there is get a few contracts in your belt. And the way you're going to get a few contracts in your belt early on is to work the lead pond.
Yeah,
and
no,
that's how
definitely.
you're going to start getting opportunities, and then, earn your way on the Zillow Flex. And then like, okay, now I have some supplemental income that I can start to direct in other areas of my business. Because when we talk about 5 pillars of production, farm is usually the last one, because all the other ones you need to do to get the ball rolling, and they're the least expensive, right? Farming is going to be your most expensive if you're doing it correctly. So, but I like that. I like how you're thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking because I'm working my farm right now, kind of just my neighborhood. I pulled 500 to 1,000 properties, and I pulled a lot of the phone numbers from the title company and paid for them because they were super inexpensive. They're about 5 cents a number. And so I've just been cold calling, my farm, and now I'm calling them already. If I can get something in their mailbox or even get it printed and go knock doors, but like socially distant, be safe. But definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, and we're definitely not like discouraging you from farming, especially if you're like doing a lot of activity like in there. We just whenever someone talks about farm, I want people to understand like how big of a commitment it is, like time wise and financially, because you're not going to get, like, I know agents that clean up in farms, but they've been doing it for years and years and years, and they've had years where it's like, is this even worth it? Because you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars, but then there's, the next year you might get 5 listings, 6 listings in that farm. So it's just, farming is definitely a long game. So like Elias said, when on all the different pillars of production, farming is like not the last one, but it just takes a little more like thought and effort. And then the biggest thing is it's like the most expensive one. One last thing on the special partnership list is Envision Media. They make some pretty cool videos, and they're not cheap. They're $500 plus to get a video made. Check out Eric King's Instagram. He's done a cool one recently. But if you're on the team, we just finalized a deal with them. If you're on the team, you get special pricing. So it's $400 instead of $550. But if you're doing it for a listing that you have, or if you have a buyer and you want to do like a welcome home video and show like the key handoff and all that, if it's something to do with one of your team closings, then Kenny will pay for half. So for $200, to be able to get some like amazing marketing content for $200 when you close a deal or have a listing, it's something that should be a no-brainer. So definitely take advantage of that. You can reach out to me for more details on that. All right, we got 5 minutes left, and let's wrap it up by kind of going in more detail on Zillow Flex and what it takes to be on the team. I really like this quote. This quote was from one of the first team leaders in the region that was on Zillow Flex, and how he presented it to his team. He said the opportunity is huge, but the standards are high, and I think that really sums up, you know, how the criteria and the standard in which that we select agents on Flex. Because Zillow, we're not paying them for leads anymore. When we're paying for leads, like, they could care less if we converted them or not, because they were still going to get paid no matter what we were doing with the leads. With Flex, we need to close those leads for Zillow to make money. So they need to make sure that their Flex partners are agents that are actually going to give them the best chance of closing those deals. So they are really monitor us tightly on how we're managing and converting those Flex leads. So in turn, we need to be really careful about who we activate on the Flex team. But we have pretty rigorous training and a lot of coaching available with Elias and myself for Flex. But one thing we want people to really understand is Flex is something that supplements your business. Like, you don't get on Flex to get business. You get on Flex when you're, a productive agent that's putting a lot of time and effort into their business, and you get Flex to supplement that as something else. It's not something that you wait for to turn on and get more business. It's something that you add on to an established business. So it's not just showing up to the Flex meetings. It's showing up to all the group coaching, showing up to the team meetings, participating, really showing your development, showing the progress that you're making with the stuff that we're training you on, and just showing that you're committed to just, performing at a high level, because that's what we need from everyone on the Flex team. Elias, you want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, for sure. So you guys, we know how important this program is to the company and the growth of this company. Looking at where we are now and just a few months in, we're already at $25 million in production from this department. And it's been a huge, huge needle changer for the company. So it's a process in order to get there. So in order to get considered for Zillow Flex, like John was saying, you have to show up and you have to participate, but you also have to show us that you can work our company generated leads that are already provided for you. Each of you will have access to over 5,000 leads. You can't just go into Zillow Flex without ever having worked any of our company leads. So you have to show us, all right, I'm going to grind, I'm going to work these leads that are unconverted Zillow leads. And then I'm going to show up to training every single week at 10:30. No matter what, rain, snow, or shine, I'm going to come, I'm going to practice, I'm going to run this offense the same way they want me to run it every single week until you are asked to be on Zillow Flex and you've earned the right to be on Zillow Flex. When you look at the call right now, Juanita's on Zillow Flex, Ryan was on here earlier. Mostly everyone that's on the call right now was on training earlier. That training is part of the process. You guys got to come every single week. You got to sharpen your sword every single week until your name is called. Once your name is called, then you come to a 9:30 weekly meeting with everyone. It's an all hands meeting. And then you come to an hour session each week with your squad leaders. And all we ask is that you show up in a big way, that you participate in a big way, and that you show us that you truly, truly want this opportunity. So at some point, most of the people, 90% of the people are going to be on it, but we want to make sure, like John said, the opportunity is huge, but the standards are set very high. Like, we run a very, very tight operation when it comes to Zillow Flex, because your guys' performance now are going to set the tone for what this program is down the road. We want to make sure that our conversion rate is high, our closing conversions or our closing percentage is high. We want to make sure our consumer experience is high, because that's going to set the tone for your brothers and sisters. So you guys are part of the relay race. And so everything that we do matters because it affects the people that are coming up behind us. And so if you guys want that opportunity, show up, come to training every single week. And I promise you, if we see that you guys are doing the work and you guys are showing up in a big way, we will honor that and we will put you on game like we did Juanita and other people that are in the room right now. As of right now, if you are currently working full-time, you cannot be on Flex. It is just a company standard right now, but as you transition out of your full-time work and have a discussion with us, cool. But as of right now, we do not let people that are working full-time on Flex. And because you're not able to take the calls.
Yeah, like Christina was saying earlier, like when you're on Flex, your phone's ringing all the time, and if we have somebody that has other big commitments, their phone's ringing when they're not able to answer, which means another agent who could take that call and convert it into a deal isn't getting that phone call. So, you know, it's something that can really help bridge you once you do get to full time. But yeah, we just need people that can be on it
For
all
sure.
the time to be on Flex.
Christina D, did you have a question?
Yes. So again, I'm not yet licensed. I'm just being proactive as much as possible. Can I join those 10:30 meetings?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, you can.
I'm like trying to like create a schedule for me. Maybe you guys already have something. You can just email me with everything and I can just join and add to my Google Calendar.
Yeah, because we can't give you access to the full calendar but once you're an agent, you can. But obviously, John's going to share with you where you can go. And the session that you joined with me, I think it was yesterday or Monday. That's every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He's going to go over that, and that's the same link for 10:30 on Thursdays. Same link.
Yeah, 10:30 on Thursdays. And I mean, and it's something that I haven't seen until I was on this team is like agents like yourself that were doing so like, I like got my license and then like, I was like thinking about like, oh, that's when I started thinking about like, maybe what brokerage should I join and all that. But like to see these agents that are like hitting the ground, not even hitting the ground running, but like hitting the ground sprinting when they get their license because they've been doing the work beforehand. I mean, Walter and Will are the great examples of that. And they were around, they were in the meetings, they were present with the team and participating before they had their license. And then literally like as soon as they were, you know, got their license numbers and could actually do stuff, they were off to the races. And I mean, the success that those guys have had early on is huge. And I think a lot of it is the time and effort they were putting in while they were warming up before they could actually do it. So we definitely encourage you and anyone else to, you know, kind of get warmed up before you get your license, because then you can just get going. Any other questions on Flex? Is that a question again, Christina? Did you raise your hand?
No. Okay, so I just want to confirm. So we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Elias. With you, Tuesday, today.
Mondays and Thursdays at 11 for the next 5 weeks.
Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. And then now I'm going to incorporate a 10:30 training on Thursdays, Elias's link.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
And starting next week, we're going to get into like the more practice. This week was kind of an introduction to the company for these trainings. And the next week, we're going to really get into the like down to business. Sylvia, are you raising your hand or is that a high five?
No, I'm raising my hand.
Oh, really quick, before we get to Sylvia. So Christina, also on Fridays and from 3 to 4, we do an open training. It's a general training in Kenny's room. And that's just zoomwithkenny.com. Sorry, Sylvia.
So can I invite an agent who I'm trying to recruit over to the Zillow Flex training on Thursdays? She's with another brokerage.
I mean, you can, but I don't know if that's the best environment for them to see our culture. I think inviting them to our Tuesday meeting would probably be the better bet.
I've been there. She's gonna, but she asked me about it Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
so I told her I'll invite her on Tuesday. Also, I was just thinking the more that she sees, that may push her over the edge sooner.
Yeah, for sure. I would highly encourage her to come to group coaching as well, because you've been there, you know the type of environment, things that we're talking about. I think we're doing really, really good work in the Thursday meetings. Not to say that we're hard, but yeah, it's a tough environment, right? But that's cool. But just give her a heads up, like, hey, they're tough because they expect certain standards out of these people that are going to be getting these leads. So by all means, invite her.
Okay, like for the Thursday, because I've been working with her for a while, and I do the same thing like you did to this morning when I forgot when Sasha asked, could he go another time? You said no. I do the same thing with her, so she's used to it.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, then bring him on in.
I'm trying to get her to come tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you.
Right. Bring him into the lion's den, right, Raymond? Yeah, we would love to have them.
Right on. Well, thanks everybody. That kind of caps it off for this week. Next week, we're really going to get into it and get going on the stuff that you're really going to be using when you're out there in front of clients and trying to get clients. Monday we'll be working with buyers part 1. Thanks, Elias, for coming here. Definitely helpful to have you. Any last questions before we end the meeting? Sweet.
Sasha, I'll see you soon for our Zoom call. And so great job.
Yeah,
Jake,
right on. Thanks, everyone. Feel free to
see
reach
the
out to
baby?
me anytime with questions. Make sure you're set up on Slack, and I will see you next week.
You say hi?
Hi,
Oh,
baby.
no.
How cute. Isn't she precious?
She's cute.
All right,
cute
guys.
now
Hey,
'cause she's
thanks, John.
quiet.
Really appreciate you, buddy. Have
Yeah,
a great
thanks,
day.
John. Thanks, Elias.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks. See you.